first ever Thursday QnCOLB for y'all. A ton of fun stuff for us to talk about today, man. We're gonna talk about Joe Flacco being elite. We're gonna talk about the Browns. They should win all the awards. We're gonna talk about, well, I'm not. Cove has some TJ Watt truth.
Some truth. Just some truth. No slander, just truth.
Just he has some truth about TJ Watt. I don't know. It sounds like it might be slanderous. Either way, we're gonna get that in. We're gonna also talk about Russ getting cooked out the kitchen. Like, just unfortunate. They kicked that man out the kitchen. They were no longer willing to pay those rates. They said no more $20 minimum wage for you, Russell Wilson. Get out of here with that bullshit. Unfortunate, man. Ask that man if he want. What they ask him? Hey, Russ, can you waive your injury bonus? Yeah, can you get the fuck out of my face? Like, could you imagine? Imagine your employer? Hey, you play football. You play fucking football, and your employer's like, "Hey, man, get rid of that injury bonus for me." Is Russell Wilson going to have to slap a bitch? Oh my God.
Hey, man.
I can't believe they played in that man's face like that. They better chill, man. Like, are you what? What?
One day we gonna get through an intro without doing it.
What in the world were they thinking when they said that to him?
Man,
you know it was bad. Russ let that leak immediately. He was like, nah. Russ usually keeps shit tight. He was like, nah. These boys are playing in my face.
You know how I knew it was bad? He went to Twitter. He said, I'm not worried about it. God got me. I was like, no.
He done turned the scripture.
You know it's bad.
He tweeting like T.O. Like, it's nuts.
When it turned to scriptures.
Hey, he got the chain back on. We put the chain on. Like, ain't no way they asked him that. Oh, what? Hey, if he didn't say something, Sierra would have. Like, somebody got. That's just crazy. To waive my injury waiver. What?
Hey, what's his stats? Ain't it like 28 touchdowns and like 8 interceptions or something crazy? Like,
yeah, his stats are good, but like, let's keep it real. If you watch him, he ass. But like, yeah, the stats do look good. Like, I can see why he would just be appalled. Somebody going to sign that too, by the way. God bless him. We gonna talk about the Pistons.
They best up for Jarrett Stidham.
That's crazy. That's nuts. That's so disrespectful. All right. We're going to talk about the Pistons. We're going to also talk about the Cavs. And is there more? Who are the most dangerous teams heading into the playoffs right now? But let's get this one started with the man of the hour. And it's not just the man of the hour in Cleveland. He's the man of the hour nationally. If you look at Spot Track, he's the #1 looked at player in the NFL. It's Joseph Vincent Flacco. Yes. From the Baltimore Ravens, still in the league. Yes. Playing the best football of his life. Cole. Like, this is not hyperbolic. This is not over. I'm legitimately watching him and like, yeah, Joe Flacco ain't never played like that. Even in 2012. Like, that throw he made on the run to Jerome Ford was the type of shit that they said that he used to not be able to do when they replaced him with Lamar Jackson. Like, that he made that. It's like they replaced him with Lamar Jackson. He just been waiting like, man, I'm going to show them I can play out the pocket. Like it's like he's just been just waiting for these opportunities and he finally got it and he's just cooking. It's incredible. Like He had his best game since 2014 last week, according to Pro Football Focus. I'm pretty sure this one was better if you count the first half. The second half got kind of rough. No Elijah Moore. They decided, you saw how they was covering David Njoku in the second half? Two linebackers and a DB. They put Sauce Gardner on him. They put Sauce Gardner on him. Like, imagine being Sauce Gardner. You think you about to just... You hear Amari Cooper's out, and you think it's about to be a nice, smooth little night. All right, I'm going to touch up on Elijah. I'm going to play this rookie real quick. We going to get this thing rolling, right? And then 3 plays into the game, Robert Salay's like, hey, bro, you going to have to get on David. Like, I'm going to need you to put hands on David, son. Like,
oh, man.
Hey, that was a rough one for the Jets. They was out here tweeting some crazy shit. Did you see Breece Hall be like, it ain't gonna be like this for long, man, I swear.
Oh, we've been there, brother. It's gonna be like that for long.
I'm like, hey, bro.
It's gonna be like that.
Look, I can't say nothing because I was about to make a joke about how old Aaron Rodgers is, but we ride that old man magic, so I can't even hate on it. Like, maybe Aaron Rodgers does come back and play super well after Achilles injury. Maybe he doesn't. Either way, if I'm Breece Hall, I know what I need to do, and that's request a trade. Get the fuck out of there, Breece. You're like, you only got so many years as a running back. You ain't got time to wait for this. Get the fuck out. Go to Kansas City. You know who can use a nice little 2-back tandem? Kansas City. Like... Buffalo.
Hey, no, did you see that? You see what Garrett Wilson did? You see what Garrett Wilson did?
What did Garrett Wilson do?
On that Ronnie Hickman pick six?
No.
You see what he did? You ain't see
I
what
did not see this. No.
Hey, I saw this like a couple minutes ago, bro. So if you watch the play, like Ronnie running it or whatever, Ronnie's also been played super duper well. We're gonna talk about that in a second. But he's running to the end zone. You see Garrett is like right behind him pretty much the entire time. And then right when he's like right next to him when he's getting close to the end zone, and then he just pulls up like this. And then Ronnie goes straight in. And right after the score, he dapped Ronnie up. I was like, oh yeah. Future Brown right there. He know what it's about.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson seemed to be done with the whole situation. And I would be done too if my first year they threw me Zach Wilson. Tim Boyle was the breaking point. Like, Tim Boyle had to be the breaking point. Cause like, how can you ever trust these people again? If they put you through Zach Wilson.
Though? Is that not a little unfair? It's a little unfair.
How's it unfair? How is it unfair?
Because this wasn't the plan for this year. We know what happened.
Cole, I understand it's not the plan, but you know how many rungs you had to go. Like, Joe Flacco was still available when they went to Tim Boyle.
That's
Cole.
True. That's
okay.
True.
Like you did not have to go to Tim Boyle. Nobody ever has to go to Tim Boyle. When they decided to throw the least qualified man to ever throw a football in the NFL as your starting quarterback, that's when Garrett Wilson had to be like, you know what? I don't know about this team, man. Like, I don't feel like they got the answers. Starting Tim Boyle is a key sign that you might not got the answers. Like,
you know what's really crazy, bro? Like, they could have had Flacco, but he played there last year. They could have had Flacco back in like that second game.
Yeah, you know the offense.
Second game,
yeah, like it would have made sense. No, they signed Tim Boyle instead. That was the dude that they went with. You know why they went with Tim Boyle? Because Aaron Rodgers told them to. Mm-hmm. Look, can we talk about Aaron Rodgers? Because I think people don't like Aaron Rodgers for not the right reasons. People don't like Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is a fucking jerk. Like, when Aaron Rodgers agreed with me politically, I didn't like Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers doesn't agree with me politically, I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I just don't like the man because he's just a swarmy kind of fucking douchebag kind of guy. Like, Why did he lie and act like there was a world where he was going to come back and play this year?
I have no idea, bro. And this is the funniest thing is they was sending out those practice videos of him throwing the ball. And in my head, I was like, if you play against Myles Garrett behind that offensive line, you're never gonna play football again. Never gonna play football again.
He was never going to play. And I remember pointing this out. People were like, oh, you're just, I'm like, stop writing for Aaron Rodgers. Like, he has lied to you so many times. Like, who is there an athlete in pro sports who has lied to their fan base more than Aaron Rodgers? Maybe like
LeBron.
Kyrie's done it a couple times too. Let's keep it a buck. Like, I like Kyrie and everything, but Kyrie be lying. He don't really like us though. Like, he's kind of upfront about that. He don't fuck with us. Like,
and
KD's his best friend. KD don't lie, by the way. KD's like, I'm here right now. KD has never sold a dream. KD has always been, I'm here right now. Like, I don't ever remember him telling Oklahoma City he would never leave. He was like, I am here right now. I'm trying to win games. I'm just here to hoop. Like, but Aaron be selling them lies, man. And look, those lies are cool the first 3 months. But then when you look around and they got Matt LaFleur's incompetent ass there, and you like, why is he here? And they got Tim Boyle here, and your best second receiver is who? Who's the best second receiver right now? They have Randall Cobb and all them rejects, Alan Lazard, like all these bums from Green Bay are all over your team right now. All of these bums.
I don't even think either of them are their second best.
It was that guy, Brownlee, the undrafted free agent, because everybody that Aaron Rodgers has brought into this organization has been garbage. And he ain't even played. Hey, dog. Hey. Keep buying them Aaron line. Remember Aaron told us he was going to play with the Packers after the darkness retreat? Mm-hmm. Remember Aaron told us he tested?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't test. And look, didn't nobody care if he tested or not, man. I think Nick Wright brought it up. Hey, we're pretty sure Lamar Jackson has never even tested for the flu. Like, don't nobody care, man. Don't nobody give a single damn about that. Same thing with Kirk Cousins. Nobody actually cares about if you vaccinated or not. I've never heard a regular person in my life ask me these questions and really get worked up over it, unless they're obviously just a real life version of a weirdo on the internet, right? Like, it's usually not even brought up. When last time you talked about if you vaccinated or not, Colb? It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Don't nobody care about that. People like, that's why people hate Aaron. No, it's because he be out here lying. He's the Bobby Petrino of quarterbacks. Like, he's pretty good. Like, like Bobby Petrino pretty good. You gonna have a good offense with Bobby. You gonna recruit well with Bobby. I think Bobby recruited Lamar Jackson, ironically enough. But you know what you can't do with Bobby? Believe them lies, right? Because Bobby will be gone. Bobby will be gone. Okay. Aaron Rodgers be out here lying. He is quarterback Bobby Petrino. You can't convince me any otherwise of that. Tell me I'm wrong about this.
I'm not telling you you're wrong about this. It's just funny. It's just funny. We were supposed to be talking about Joe, not Aaron Rodgers' lying ass, though.
Yeah. Joe Flacco's elite. He be keeping it real, just kicks it real wholesome. He's the anti-Aaron Rodgers. He's who everybody thinks Aaron Rodgers is. No, that's who... off the field, in the building, right? Like, I'm not going to compare Joe Flacco on the field to Aaron Rodgers. That would be unfair to Joe Flacco. But in that building, off that field, he that man. He that man.
Hey, Joe was at a Dunkin' Donuts off Ridge today.
Hey.
Kicking it like a real Clevelander.
In a hoodie, in a Nike Tech.
Like, just chilling, just like, yeah,
in a Nike sweatsuit, waiting for his number to get called.
Hey, dog, I don't think the city has ever supported a quarterback the way that we supported Joe.
Dog, because he's good. Like, ain't no quarterback been good like this.
The whole city behind Joe, right?
I wonder what it would have looked like if Baker would have had that season without the pandemic. Because like we couldn't show love like they show love right now because it was a pandemic. Maybe it would have been similar because like they was fucking with Baker crazy. Like it was a real thing. It was a real thing. But yeah, Joe kind of just like, you know, Joe strikes me as a dude who might show up places you don't believe he would show up. You like, Joe here? like, what Joe doing here? Okay. Joe at Sharks?
Joe popping up at the club?
Nah, not the club. Not the club. It's the legacy joints. It's like, hey man, I saw Joe at Hot Sauce Williams. If that was still open. Like, heard there were good wings.
Hey, go get Joe some wings, dog. Go get Joe some wings.
Hey, yo, hey, that flat man in here. Flat man in here. Hey. I'm telling you, you ever want to feel appreciated if you Joe Flacco, show up in Mount Pleasant. Like, that ain't never happened down there. I promise you, Joe, you gonna be fine. Like, they not gonna mess with you like they would mess with us. Like, you gonna be all right, dog. It's gonna be like the president coming to town. Like, you gonna be good. You gonna be good. See him out there in Sharks on leash. Like, they got the best shrimp, dog. You like shrimp? Say Joe Flacco will be there, dog. I feel like that's a man who just appreciates good food. Like,
I respect it. No, there was somebody who was a Ravens fan on Twitter. I can't remember their name, but they was basically like, yeah, like Joe kick it like a regular person, dog. Like he used to just play in games, and then you just see him pop up at McDonald's, right?
Hey, somebody needs to retroactively make him the QB, put him on the QB1 series because I need to know what he be doing. Like, what was his first move in Cleveland? Like 100%. Joe Flacco got to Cleveland, got to his hotel, and then searched Targets nearby. Like, I know for a fact. Targets, Chipotle's.
We got better stuff than Chipotle, man. We got better stuff than Chipotle.
No, look, Joe been in the league a minute. He been bouncing around and like, you know what Joe want to keep it to? Chains. I know what I could get, right? I have the app on my phone. He not about to find the local stuff. He ain't used to be here for a minute. Like, that's not what it's been like for the last few years. So I bet first thing he did, he searched all of them chains. Like, hey man, which hotel gives me access to all these things in a reasonable driving distance?
You missing out. You missing out, Joe. We gonna get you there though. We gonna get you there.
Promise you his hotel's near Steel Yard or some shit like that.
Hey, it's some spots by the Steel Yard he need to.
Where he was at the Dunkin' on Ridge?
Yeah. Man. Some spots.
What? Yes, Joe Flacco's playing well. The city is most certainly enjoying him. It was just great to see that stadium come alive last night. They tried a wide out.
It didn't work.
Shout out to your cousin, man. Best tweet of the night.
Hey, shout out Real.
I don't know what he was thinking when he tweeted.
Oh, the tweet after that when he said, "Yeah, I didn't think this one through. That's on me."
It's wider in here than I thought.
Hey, no, you see me? Did you see me quote it?
No, what you say?
I was like, Rashard Mendenhall.
All right. Let's talk about TJ Watt. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, that's what you want to follow it up with, TJ Watt?
Yeah, let's follow this up with TJ Watt. I feel like that's the right move.
That's the best transition we got.
Somebody in the comments said Joe strikes me as a guy who likes to go to Five Guys. Valid.
He got money. I can see it.
He got money, so he go to Five Guys.
Yeah, man, it's a little rich for my taste.
That's nuts.
Have you been in the Five Guys recently?
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it's not that expensive. What's it like? What? It's like
expensive for me.
$8 for a burger.
No, it's more than that. It's more than that. Come on. Man.
How much is it? With 12?
Yeah, it might be. I think you running up close to the 15.
It's the same price as a Shake Shack, right?
Man, I ain't been in a Shake Shack in a minute.
They tell you it's always worth it.
Man, this is not a food podcast. Anyway.
If you ever come to Atlanta, I'm gonna take you to a place called Grindhouse. It's gonna blow your mind. All right.
Oh yeah, I definitely need to hit up the vegan spots in Atlanta for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
oh yeah, they got vegan burgers and turkey burgers. They got all of it. But
we'll
vegan chili, yeah.
Ooh, we'll keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah, I'll steer you right. All right, but Cole, you did have something you wanted to say about TJ Watt. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear this slander you about to say about TJ, so I can passively agree
slander.
without. No, what you about to say?
It's not even slander, though. It's not even slander. Well, let's start where we need to start. First of all, Myles Garrett's the defensive player of the year. It's not close. It's not remotely close to me. Only other player you could argue for in my mind is Micah Parsons, and I think he's been better than Micah.
He's been much better than Micah.
You know what I'm saying? He's the defensive player of the year. People talk about sacks and all this other stuff, bro. If you literally just watch the games, see what opposing offenses do to try to stop him specifically. It's not close. They are literally showing you he is the best defensive player in football. Every single offense does the exact same thing. Every time there's an obvious pass rushing down situation, it's two guys on Myles, at least. A lot of times, if you're paying attention, it's been three. He's a defensive player of the year. He's the best defensive player in football. It's not close. It's really not a debate. Please don't let the box score stats fool you. He's the best defensive player in football, which leads me to the point that I wanted to make. Because there's a fan base, really, honestly, at this point, only one fan base that's fighting this.
That's all they got, Cole. Come on, let them have it.
No, absolutely not. They need to hear the truth. They were never afraid to tell us the truth. Now it's our turn. Let me tell you something. TJ Watt not better than him. He ain't better than him. He ain't been better than him for a long time. I'm gonna be honest with you. It really hasn't been. It hasn't been close for years. It really hasn't.
I would say since last year, I don't think it's been well. Since this year, especially, there has been a considerable gap when you look at the advanced metrics and everything of what TJ's doing and what Myles is doing, and also a considerable gap in how teams, and this is important, protect against those two. Right? They don't protect against TJ as if they're terrified of TJ. They protect against TJ as if TJ's pretty good. They protect against Myles as if Myles Garrett is God. Like this is not hyperbole. Go watch the Browns play football and just watch 95 and tell me how many times you see a guard, a tackle, and a tight end three-piece Myles, and it still kind of doesn't work.
It's not a guard and tackle and a tight end. It's a guard, a tackle, and a running back trying to slow Myles down. Sometimes all four.
Like the man is playing Mortal Kombat every time he take a snap because he just got to fight the gauntlet. There's no defensive player that forces a team. Look, when's the last time you saw a 7-step drop against the Browns?
I legitimately don't know. I don't.
Tennessee. It's been since Tennessee. It's been since week 4. That game happened. Team said no more 7-step drops. You see how fast Trevor Siemian was getting rid of that ball? Yeah, that's not how he usually plays. Like Justin Fields
2 seconds.
Holds on to the ball 3.2 seconds. When Myles came to town, 1 second getting rid of that ball. Myles Garrett is so good, he be making quarterbacks who be having bad habits fix they shit. Like Justin Fields got better after he played Myles Garrett because now he got to know how to get rid of the ball because that's the kind of fear that he puts the fear of God into quarterbacks, like legitimately. Anytime Myles pops loose, you be seeing a pop, like just get rid of the ball real quick.
Man,
I'm not even exaggerating. I thought this happened with Trevor Siemian like 6 times last night.
What he did to Mekhi Becton yesterday, I ain't never seen
Yeah.
no shit like that, bro.
By
I
the
ain't never
way,
seen no shit like that.
it could have been so much worse than Jed Wills. It could have been so much worse than Jed Wills.
Talk about it. Talk about it real quick. Talk about it real.
People been on Jed Wills' ass like we could have drafted anybody. It would have been better. Nah, because it was down to Mekhi Becton or him. We weren't really thinking about Tristan Wirfs if we keep it in the buck, because he was looked at as a right tackle, not a left tackle. He only transitioned to left tackle this year. So it's kind of revisionist history to say we should have drafted Tristan Wirfs. It was really down to Mekhi Becton or Jed Wills or the dude on the Giants. Now, I don't know if the dude on the Giants is any good. I know
good.
he had a rough first year, but I think he's fine now.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Just like Jed. Okay. And let's be honest here. Jed's issues are kind of similar to Larry Tunsil's issues, where when Deshaun's in there, he has a play style that's going to make it seem like the left tackle's doing a worse job than he's actually doing. But he's actually doing his job most of the time. There are games where Jed just gets cooked, but most of the time he is. But this ain't about Jed Wills' defense at all. Even though Jed out there with Joe Flacco, look, we be talking about Jed looks like an all-pro. Yeah, you ain't got to do shit with Joe back there. Look, where Joe gonna be right there?
He getting that ball out. He getting that ball out.
And then if Joe do got a scoop, he get it out quick though. Look, Joe don't ever run the whole arc when he bounce out that pocket. He throw that shit out like 30 degrees into that arc. He like, all right, I'm about to roll ball out. I thought he was about to scramble when he threw that shit to Jerome Ford.
Jerome Ford? I did too.
I was like, what? He about to? All right, but let's get back on the TJ Watt subject here. I have used this analogy for a while. It's Clyde Drexler, Michael Jordan. It's Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James. It's people confusing because two players are good at the same position that they are somehow peers. Now, I don't remember the Last Dance documentary by verbatim, but I do remember there was a part where Michael was like, people were trying to say that me and Clyde were similar level players, and I just didn't think that was the case. And then he put up 60 on Clyde or some shit like that, right? Like, I think people get that confused. Because there are times that you can convince yourself that Clyde Drexler was like a better player than Michael Jordan, or you can convince yourself that at times Carmelo Anthony was comparable to LeBron James. But you can't do that if you're watching them both. Like, you watch LeBron and you're like, wow, he's so much more important. Like, yes, he got 25 and 10 just like Melo, but those 25 and 10 were different than Melo's 25 and 10. Like, a lot of TJ Watt's buckets feel like Melo buckets, which is to say, hey, man, probably like just getting them kind of like because somebody got to get them. Like, somebody got to get those buckets. Somebody got to score.
You're being too nice. You're being too nice about it.
Somebody can score. And like with TJ Watt sacks, hey, look, man, I'm glad he's getting them. Good for him. Get his money, whatever the fuck he's going to do with that. But yeah, man, like these are like 5-second sacks.
Still being nice. They're like 6-7 seconds. They're like 6 to
a lot of
seconds.
them are on free runs. And look, it's not to say that he's not playing well. He's playing good, but he's not defensive player of the year this year. It's not even close. It's not even close. His brother ain't even arguing it. That's how you know it's not close. Because his brother's being real quiet about defensive player of the year, if you notice, right? You know why it is? Because he think it's Miles. Because he think it's Miles. And he know how his brother feel about that. Okay?
Like, you know it's Miles. Everybody outside of Pittsburgh knows that it's Miles.
It's Miles. It's Miles.
Miles.
It's Miles. It's Tom.
Oh, quick stat for you. Did you know that TJ Watt is one of 2 players with more than 13 sacks that has multiple unblocked sacks?
What?
Yes. He is one of 2 players with at least 13 sacks.
Who else? Who's the other player? Michael Parsons?
That has had sacks where he did not get blocked whatsoever. Multiple sacks where he didn't get blocked whatsoever.
Yeah, they don't treat him like Miles.
The other is Khalil Mack, by the way.
Oh, now that makes a lot of those numbers make sense. like that makes Khalil Mack's season make sense now. But yeah, like I don't see how it's not Miles. Like you can tell yourself, oh, the sack numbers aren't. Well, the sack numbers are great. He has 14 or 13. I
14.
mean, 14. Yeah, that's great sack numbers, by the way. The sack numbers are great, but what Miles has to fight through to get a sack versus what TJ Watt has to fight through to get a sack are hilariously different. Like it's not even close to the same.
Do I want to bring up the double team rate, or should I not bring up the double team rate?
Here's the thing that's insane about the double team rate. Because what TJ Watt's at 15 and Miles is at
14.
like 30. Yeah. And Miles is at like 30. Here's the insane thing about that double team rate. It used to be that the double team rate was like that on TJ because he had so much help and Miles didn't. Miles has help. They don't care. Like, they just, like, he has good help. Alex Wright, Obo Okoronkwo. Like, imagine when Obo gets back.
Alex Wright, 3 straight games with a sack.
Yeah, Alex Wright in that rotation now. Like, you got a legitimate 2-piece behind Miles and Za'Darius. Za'Darius been heating up. And here's the funny thing about it all. They're all playing well. The Browns defensive line is playing as well as anybody. And teams are still like, that one guy still the problem. Like, I will deal with playing shorthanded against everybody else. All of these other good players. I will deal trying to throw blindly to Denzel fucking Ward because that's how little I want to deal with Myles Garrett. Like, Denzel Ward is a dude you would usually avoid if he were on a different defense. You would not want to throw at Denzel Ward. They out here, this is how dominant the Browns defense is. They are reduced to trying to pick on Martin Emerson. That is what they have right now. If they can't run the ball, we got to throw at Martin. And we got to throw quick at Martin. Martin long and shit. And he good at like intercepting the ball like this. There's no good solution here, right? And still, despite all of that, despite the fact that the Browns have quarters you can't just throw on, despite the fact that the Browns have linebackers that are really good, like JOK, despite the fact that the Browns have safeties who can blitz like Grant Delpit or now DeAnthony Bell, they have good safety coverage of Ronnie Hickman and Juan Thornhill. And despite the fact that the Browns have one of the deepest defensive lines in football, teams are still like, no, we are sending it all towards Miles. That don't happen for TJ. It don't happen for TJ. Why does it not happen for TJ? Because they not as worried about TJ as they worried about Miles. They are 100%, literally 105% more worried about Myles Garrett than TJ Watt. And Myles Garrett is on a better defense than TJ Watt. And they're still like, no, I refuse to let this go. They will never not double team him, dog. It's never like we used to think, oh, we could force them out of the double team. We can't.
Nope.
They're never going to not double team him. They have made that decision. He is not scoring anymore. Like, you know how insane this is? This is like when LeBron came back to Cleveland and teams were like, we're still going to triple team Bron. Kyrie right there. Like, we'll leave Kyrie one-on-one. I don't care. We'll let that happen. Bron ain't getting this ball. Okay? That is the level of domination that Myles Garrett is exhibiting. Like, I have to use these names who are like all-time greats to let you know. Like, I was talking to somebody about this, and I think the term that came out of my mouth was he's kind of like to edge rushers what Shaq was to centers. Like, he's such a different athlete at the position. He's such a dominant athlete at the position that it breaks everybody's brains to try to quantify it. Like, Shaq was kind of like that. Like, Shaq had the numbers and everything else like that, but, you know, there's that famous stat, Shaq never led the league in rebounds. But you're not about to tell me Shaq wasn't one of the best centers in the NBA. You're not about to tell me you don't trust Shaq to get a rebound in an NBA game, right? Like, the numbers don't quantify his domination because he's just such a unicorn out there. And that's kind of what Myles is to this position, where he kind of gets discounted simply because he's Myles Garrett. Like, we don't even measure him on the bar of everybody else. We measure him on the bar of like Reggie White. Like, that's how and he gets judged like that. And people are like, well, he not doing Reggie White stuff, so he can't be defensive player of the year. It's ridiculous. Like, the bar is so high for Miles simply because he's really good at football. And that dictates how people talk about him, despite the fact that TJ Watt is who people consider to be the second best edge rusher in all of football, maybe Micah Parsons. And teams don't nearly cater their game plan against those two players like they do against Myles Garrett. And that's simply because that's how scared they are of Miles. And look, with the Cowboys, can't really name me that many other players that they have rushing the pass other than Micah Parsons. Maybe that's why his double T rate's so high. With the Browns, we got dudes on this team and they still double teaming him, dog. It does not matter. It does not matter. They are double teaming Miles. Like, you have to ask people this question. If Miles and TJ were on the same team, who's getting the double team?
Miles. 100%.
So how can you say TJ's the better player? Like, if Miles is the one getting the double team, how can you even think that TJ's the better player? It's not even a question. And like, I know Steelers fans to try to lie and tell, oh no, I was set the double team towards TJ. Your own team. They don't even do this when they play your vanilla regular Steelers team. They don't even roll that double team. They roll the double team towards Cam.
Like, or if you look up the double
Highsmith?
team race, that Highsmith get double team more.
Because they're more worried about them. Like, and I'm not saying just because you lead the league in double team rate, you should get defensive player of the year. But when you lead the league in double team rate, you also are second or first in pass rush win rate. You also are like first in pressures. You also are like, what, fifth in sacks. You've had 5 pass deflections. By the way, 18 tackles for loss. And I don't know how many run stops, but he's been phenomenal in that. Yeah, defensive player of the fucking year. There's more than one stat. There's more than one stat.
Steelers fans are hilarious to be like, well, look at the sack numbers and look at the forced fumbles, look at the stats. And then people be looking at all the stats that we have available to us. And then they'll turn around and be like, well, don't look at those stats. We're not talking about
Look at
pressures.
my stats. Yeah. Look at my stats. Don't look at the film. Like, you clown. They'll call you a clown for looking at more detailed numbers. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts. But yeah, man, we got to stop acting like Miles not the defensive player of the year. And honestly, I feel bad for Miles because, like, it's kind of a Pat Mahomes thing where it's going to be real difficult for him to continue to get defensive players of the year because he's so good that he's going to have to, like, outdo himself in order to get it. When if some regular degler had Myles Garrett's numbers, they would probably win defensive player of the year, like, every year. But since he's Miles, we don't like let him slide with like, oh, well, the sack numbers were kind of low. Like, and they aren't. They are. It's not like we talk about giving a defensive player of the year with 7 sacks. He got 14, no, 15, 14 or 15? 14 of them hoes. And he probably about to get 3 against Jonah this week. Like, if we keep it in a buck, he always get 2 off on him. He might get 3. He might end with 17.
It's more than he had last year.
By the way, if he gets 16 this year, 3 straight seasons, 16 sacks. That's the fucking franchise record for the Browns. He just reset it 3 years in a row. And people act like he's not getting enough sacks. It's crazy. Maybe because he's too busy doing everything else and fighting through triple teams. Come on, man. Come on. People acting like he not playing well. It's nuts. Ask them people on the defense what if you play. Ask Alex Wright if he thinks Myles Garrett is playing well. Okay. Ask Darius Smith if he thinks Myles Garrett is playing well. Ask JOK. Because you know who lives free because of this? Look, they said 3 on Myles and JOK's like, I'm going to just run where they not. Like, easy money, dog. Easy money. It's the easiest money JOK's ever had in his life, dog. In his life. It's like, yeah. But that's why Miles is the defensive player of the year over TJ Watt. Kevin's the coach of the year. Andrew Berry's the executive of the year. And Joe Flacco's really the comeback player of the year. And Jim Schwartz,
Schwartz. There it
assistant of the
is.
year. Assistant of the year. Browns should get 5 of these awards. Look, we've already talked about why they're going to give this thing to DeMar Hamlin, and also how that's kind of a thing that they did not think about very much. But hey, they're going to do it, and they're going to pat themselves on the back for that. Don't know if they should, though, because they really should ask this guy how he feels about this. Not saying he's going to not like it, but it would be nice to, you know what I mean? It would be a good thing to ask DeMar if this is something he appreciates, just so we know we doing this for him, right? Like, don't nobody want it. I would like to know. But I guess he'll tell us in his speech. But Joe Flacco should win Comeback Player of the Year. Kevin's got Coach of the Year locked.
Yeah,
I don't know what criteria they choose to go with Executive of the Year. I don't know how it's not Andrew Berry.
I mean,
who has made?
This is what they're gonna do. They're probably gonna try to hold. There's gonna be people who want to hold the Deshaun deal against them because they called it the worst trade in NFL history. So they go. There's gonna be people who try to hold that against him and not give him the award. But if you look at literally everything else he's done, he's
How can you hold that trade against him this year?
I hear what you're saying. You shouldn't be able to, but you know.
Well, no, I'm saying like it wouldn't even make sense because if you think that was a bad trade, the fact is Deshaun Watson, they won five of the games that he played out there out of 6. He got hurt. So like whatever you feel about Deshaun Watson, you really get a good enough measure on him to know, even though that's not stopping people. And then you won games with PJ. Like you found 3 different quarterbacks to win games with. One of them might be Comeback Player of the Year and Super Bowl MVP. We ain't gonna talk about that
yet. Shut up.
But in all seriousness, like how could, like, if your feelings on the Deshaun Watson trade are holding you back for it 2 years after the trade got done, also better win percentage than what they did with Russ. Like, I'm just saying, like, we're not paying somebody to leave at this point. Like, we still gonna let the brother play his contract out. You know, we ain't at that point. But yeah, I don't see how it's not Andrew Berry. Like, I get what you're saying. Some people might hold the Deshaun trade against him, but you got to prove where that trade has actually hurt the Browns.
It hasn't. That's the thing.
Like, that's been my whole issue with this whole, it's the worst trade in NFL. Prove where it fucking hurt the team. Because they try to point at Baker Mayfield, like, well, the Browns are better than them. Like, where does it hurt the team? You can argue it helped the team. But you beat Baltimore 14-14. Hey, do you win that game without him?
I mean, we probably win it. We might win it. We might have won that game with Joe, but
he wasn't on the team at that point, brother. Like, he wasn't on the team at that point. So I'm pretty sure PJ ain't doing that. And like, shout out to DTR. We know he not. So, yeah. I don't see where it hurt the team. If you want to talk about, well, they lost the draft picks, and you can just see in the young talent. No, you can't. We got Ronnie Hickman out here balling. We got Anthony Bell, Roddy Hickman, and Deron Harbin off the streets, dog. And they are putting together a comparable tandem right now.
You didn't even talk about Cameron Mitchell. You didn't talk about how DeJuan was looking before he got hurt.
Alex Wright.
Martin Emerson and Alex Wright, 3rd round picks in the same draft.
Yes, sir.
Who am I forgetting? Am I forgetting anybody? Oh, let's move off draft picks for a second. Let's talk about his free agent signings. Dalvin Tomlinson.
Fire.
Traded for Zadarius Smith, 5th round pick.
He's playing well.
Shelby Harris.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Maurice Hurst.
Underrated, super underrated.
Super underrated. Obo Okoronkwo.
Also very underrated. We
Mm.
forget anybody on offense?
I mean, Amari Cooper was a trade. Like, if we go hold trades against people, like, hey man, Amari Cooper was traded here a couple years ago too. Same year as Deshaun. Why y'all not? Why y'all? Yo, that was a couple years ago, Quincy. You can't use that trade this year. But I can hold this Deshaun Watson trade for the same year against them, even though there's no actual tangible evidence that Deshaun Watson trade actually hurt the Browns. Like.
Trying to think about
Honestly, you can make the argument that trading for Deshaun Watson helped the Browns because it steered them in the right direction to go all in on a roster that apparently was pretty good. But hey, y'all want to write y'all LOL Browns article. Oh, Dustin Hopkins?
Dustin Hopkins, best trade of the year.
Yep. That Elijah Moore trade too, by the way. That was starting to work out. You saw them 640? Mm-hmm. Hey, he been putting up numbers. Hey, David Njoku extension. Yeah. We talking about extensions now. The David Njoku extension. Tell me that wasn't an all-time signing. Like, David Njoku out here looking like Derrick Henry every time he touched the ball until he fumbled. Like,
chill. That fumble hurt my heart because he on my fantasy team.
He didn't get the ball after that too. That wasn't why he didn't get the ball. They triple covered him, but like, it's just a hilarious coincidence. But yeah, executive of the year, don't know how you give it to anybody else. Coach of the year, legitimately, you got to be an asshole to give this to anybody other than Kevin. Like, who?
What's the argument?
What? Mike McDaniel?
Anybody else? Dan Campbell, you will give it to Dan Campbell because they won their division for the first time in 30 years?
Fuck out of my face.
That's the only real argument we got left. Like that's the only one left.
Yeah, look at Dan Campbell. He won the game with PJ Walker. Let me tell you that. All right, like he won a game. He won multiple games with PJ Walker. Okay, and DTR. I want Dan Campbell can do that. And then, unless Dan Campbell can do that, then nah, I'm good on that.
All teams above 500, and one of them was the 49ers.
All four quarterbacks had to be over 500 playoff level teams. Think about that, Cole. All four. We
beat the 49ers with BJ.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Oh, Lord, that's not supposed to happen.
Beat Baltimore, who everybody thinks is invincible right now, in M&T Bank Stadium while they were hot. All we needed was one solid half from Deshaun Watson to do it. And he gave us that solid half of football on a season-ending fucking injury to his throwing shoulder. That's yes. A shoulder, by the way, Cole, in which he had just freshly rehabbed back to health. I don't know. The more I think about like how the Deshaun Watson stuff ended, the more I'm reminded of like, oh no, dog. Actually, there's a lot of like if he recovers from this shoulder injury, well, there is evidence to be like, nah, he's probably gonna be pretty good next year because he was fighting through a throwing shoulder injury all year. And we just acted like that didn't happen. And he was still playing good. Like, hey, remember the throws he made in the Arizona game working off of a throwing shoulder injury? Yeah, dog, I think he might be all right next year. I know a lot of us are like trying to whip ourselves into a panic about what we're gonna do next year if Joe doesn't come back and this and that. I'm like, I think we're all right. I think we're all right. You know, it seems like he's gonna heal from this injury. It seemed like it was just a bone break, not a muscle tear. Like Cam was a muscle tear. This is a bone break. So, you know, bone breaks usually heal. So, yeah, I feel like the brother's gonna be fine. Now, that's not gonna be as fun to talk about off the field. We're not about to talk about him being at Dunkin' Donuts at Ridge. He don't got that kind of leeway.
Oh, that would have been a completely different kind of tweet.
His foundation still does good charity work. It's the Deshaun Watson Foundation. Like they need to rebrand that. They need to rebrand that. Like I get it, it's your foundation, but just call it the Give It Back Foundation. Like we don't need to know where it's coming from. Like because it's so difficult. Because sometimes I'll be like, man, he's doing some dope shit. Like he going to inner city places. Like he talking to Pal 6 kids, all this stuff that would have mattered for people who grew up in that circumstance as a kid. And I'm like, yeah, but it's hard to talk about, right? Like
it's hard to talk about because I want us to move on, right?
Because if you say something about it, like, hey man, he's actually doing some legitimate charity work, it sounds like you're running PR for this man who you don't want to run PR for. So it's just like, I just need y'all to change the name so I can highlight the work and then people can find out without them being like, oh, Quincy's out here trying to like pop up the propaganda. Like, no. I'm just, some of the stuff he's doing out here, it does matter. Like, it's legitimately good work, but this is like, all right. Like,
you notice how I'm just letting you talk and I'm not.
it's good charity work. He giving turkeys and shit, like houses. Like, at least that money going somewhere positive. That's all I'm saying. Like, for people who complain about the $230 million guaranteed, some of it's getting written off to some good shit, I guess. But it's just such a weird dynamic, man. It's just such a very weird dynamic. It's like, what if Jeff Bezos was philanthropic? Like, it's like, I don't even know what Jeff Bezos. I bet he does great stuff for charity. I'm sure. Let's move on. I don't know why I'm picking the messiest subjects while we lie. Cole was like, please get to Russ getting kicked out this kitchen.
Please.
It's like watching somebody tightrope.
Just like.
All right, man, let's talk about Russ getting kicked out this kitchen. Because speaking about playing with money, man. Hey, man, I want to find the article, Cole, but let me know what you thought about this real quick.
I'm just waiting.
What you waiting for?
Since you're about to find the article, I'm just waiting to hear.
No, I want you to talk while I find the article.
Oh, you want me to talk while you find the article? Look,
yes.
Man, it ain't too much to say. It's one of those things where it's like they got whooped by the Zap Man. You know what I'm saying? Zap Man handled business, stood on business, got it done.
Appreciate that.
Ruined the Patriots and the Broncos holiday.
Love that. Hey, I've seen Bill Belichick's draft picks. He don't need to be picking in that top 5.
Man. It is. But then it's like you just bench him for Jarrett Stidham, and then you gonna pay him. They're gonna have the largest dead cap hits in NFL history. For what reason? Because you just don't like it? Because Sean Payton just don't like the dude?
All right, so I got the report here from the homie Jordan Schultz on Bleacher Report. He says the Broncos threatened to bench Russell Wilson weeks ago if he did not remove his injury guarantees. Nuts. Ridiculous. Hey, get the fuck out of my face with that bullshit. Right?
Yeah, man. Fuck out of here. Absolutely.
Russell Wilson's benching by the Broncos today is solely financially related and has been in the works for weeks. Keep in mind.
While they was winning?
Yes. Per multiple sources with direct access to the situation. So, I mean, those sound like pretty solid sources. The Broncos approached Wilson 2 days after their October 29th upset over this before the win streak. This is the win that started the win streak over the Kansas City Chiefs, and told him he would be made inactive for the rest of the season if he did not adjust his contract and defer injury guarantee trigger date that he has from 2025. Wilson has $37 million in guarantees for 2025 that will become guaranteed no matter what on the 5th day of 2024 of the league year. So basically, if he's on the roster at March 1st, he gets 37 more guaranteed dollars. This is what they're trying to avoid. At that time, Wilson was coming off of a 3-touchdown win over the Chiefs and was starting to experience the type of success he envisioned following a challenging first year in Denver. The threat, however, shocked him, and the two sides got in a major dispute over how to proceed. The issue remained, but the Broncos stuck with Wilson as the team strung together primetime wins over the Buffalo Bills and the Minnesota Vikings. It's also to note, they waited until they were done playing primetime games to pull this bullshit. Don't let that little thing slip by, right? They what was the last game called? Saturday Night Football. They waited until they were done playing primetime games because they knew if this was happening on Monday Night Football, it would be a topic. But now we just kind of slide it in week 18 when we playing 1 o'clock on CBS against where the fuck we playing. Okay, we can get away with it, right? These teams are slimy, man. Like straight up slimy. Followed by another win over the Cleveland Browns, one of the league's best defenses. Shout out Jordan for giving us that shout out. Appreciate that. Wilson, 35, has started 15 games this season. Has completed 66% of his passes for 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. When the threat was made by the Broncos, the team's camp, Wilson, and this is how they know that the Broncos fucked up. The NFLPA and another unknown party were involved in negotiations that ended with no change in Wilson's contract. Shout out Sierra. That was Princess. She called somebody. She got somebody in that room for Russ. Okay. She got somebody who knew some negotiations in there. She was like, they said what to you, baby? Like, I'm gonna call Herschel. Herschel? Just a random name. Like,
you talking like Herschel Walker?
No, not Herschel Walker. What the fuck Herschel Walker about to do in there? We gonna get Big James on this. Okay. Big James? You're gonna call Big James? Let's ride.
Finish the article.
And it came crashing down today when Sean Payton and the other top-level members decided to go ahead with the plan they've had for weeks. Sean Payton and other top-level. So Sean Payton was in this shit too. And you know what, man? It's cooked. I don't know what it's going to be next year, but it's cooked for this year. They can't have nobody on this roster because everybody in that locker room just saw their head coach decide, I don't want to win no more football games. That's what it sounds like. And also, shout out to Sean Payton, the only one that can make Russell Wilson a folk hero. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm trying to get traded to Denver because like nobody can restore your reputation like Sean Payton simply because he's a bigger jerk than you. Like,
I don't know about that one.
He would have the people out here saying free Deshaun.
I doubt it, man. I doubt it. Russ is just annoying. Russ is just annoying.
Dog, Russ is annoying, but people have had more smoke for Russ than Deshaun. That's crazy.
Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And people are now like, hey, man, free Russell. Okay.
They did Russ dirty, dog.
Sean Payton is an asshole. By the way, Sean Payton not giving back his injury guarantees. Sean Payton, who cost you a first-round pick to get, by the way, gets paid more money than most of the dudes on the roster. Yeah, I wonder if they come to Sean Payton asking about, hey, man, let's cut some of your guarantees for your contract if he's about to ride with that like he expected Russ to ride. Get rid of my injury guarantee. Are you stupid? Why do you think it's in the contract in the first place?
It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's so weird, man. It's so weird. It's so weird.
They should be investigated by the NFL, to be honest.
Literally. Honestly.
Because you shouldn't be able to move like this. Like there should always be an assumption that you're making a move in good faith to win football games. if you're playing out here, right? Like that should be enforced that you are operating as a football team in good faith. And if it is found out that you are not operating in good faith, which this story clearly paints the picture that the Denver Broncos are not operating in good faith, then you should be punished. Because everything that's bad about sports now happens because people decide to act in bad faith. Right? Tanking. What's tanking? It's basically losing in bad faith. Like, oh yeah, we definitely just are trying while we starting Deshaun Kaiser. Like, you gotta enforce the team. You gotta make sure that teams have some kind of incentive to be acting in good faith, because this whole thing kind of crashes down if we aren't in mass operating in good faith. It's one thing to have a team that stinks. It's another thing to bench a dude because you don't want to pay him $37 million and you want to cut him and you want to turn that into some kind of strategy, and you're going to start Jarrett Stidham for 2 years and you're just going to have Jerry Jeudy out there and Marvin Mims and all these players I like in hell for 3 years because you being selfish.
My whole thing about it is this: if you're playing in a locker room, they literally went to this man who, regardless of how you feel about Russ and how he's playing, they went to this man and said, hey, the injury guarantees in your contract, we want you to waive those. If you are a player on that team and you heard that, I would be like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm going to my agent immediately. Get me the fuck out of here. I need. That's how they're moving. When you putting your bodies on the line every Sunday.
It's the same thing we talked about with Gary Wilson. What the second they sent through out Tim Boyle, hey man, I don't know if I'm gonna play here no more.
Get me out of here.
I don't think I trust y'all.
This is a situation where it's not even I don't think I trust y'all. I can't trust y'all.
Yeah, clearly, I don't trust y'all.
I can't. I cannot do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Imagine your job trying to take guarantees out your
and you've been doing a good job.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that. Oh no. You get a new job immediately. Immediately. You would go find a new place.
Here's the thing too, like where does Russ go?
Giants.
Man, please don't send that man to New York. What about Russell Wilson in New York you feel like won't work? Russell Wilson don't need to be anywhere near the Midwest, near the East Coast.
This is what I'm saying, though. What's a better situation? I've seen some people say Pittsburgh. I'm like, I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work out.
Why? He played just like a Pittsburgh quarterback. He don't be throwing shit deep. He be throwing check downs all the time.
I've been thinking about locker room dynamics.
Hey, man, if Pat forces that trade, does he go to Kansas City?
Stop it. You know what somebody said? Somebody said the Raiders. It's like, Russ probably going to be a Raider. And I was like, what about Russell Wilson makes you think he'll fit in Antonio Pierce's and Max Crosby's locker room?
Yeah, Max Crosby might veto that. Not even gonna lie. And then Max Crosby even to jail? Like legitimately? Yeah, I think he's been to jail or like juvenile or something. He's been to some kind of jail equivalent. Yeah, let me tell you, man. Russell Wilson, dudes who've been to jail, that's not a good mix. like
Antonio Pierce would be around Russell Wilson for about 30 seconds and be like, nah.
Who is like Russell Wilson's type of guy though? He rubbed Pete Carroll the wrong way. Like Mike McDaniel?
No.
Kyle would lose his mind with Russ. Because Russ don't do what the coach tell him to do.
I was about to say, Russ not going to do what he need him to
do. Russ do what Russ want to do. That's the thing. I don't know who about to be out here rocking with him. Like personality-wise, I think him and Mike McDaniel might get along because him and Tua get along. And Tua and like Russ are kind of similar in like temperament. They both are really positive people. Tua's a little bit more spicy than Russ. But like, it's a similar like vibe.
Would you say that Tua is more authentic with it than Russ is?
That's what I meant with spicy. That's what I mean
That's,
with
that,
spicy. Like
that's my whole
he's
thing with
like,
Russ. I feel like it's not real with him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, he's like, what if Russ didn't get a publicist when he turned 18? Like, like that's what it feels like. Like he's a little bit more unfiltered than Russ, but similar personality, right? I don't see him and Bill Belichick.
Nah.
All right, Russ. All right, just get rid of the fucking ball, man. Coach, you need to be more positive.
Bill might choke him out right then and there.
All right, put Jared in the fucking game. put Bailey in the fucking game. I can't deal with him. I get him the fuck out the field. He can go home. I don't care. He can leave. I care less. Yeah.
Go to the Giants. Just go to the Giants. Should be all right.
All right. Go home, Antonio. Like that's what he did with Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown acted the fool that 1 week. He was like, Antonio could go home. Tom was like, come on, I want him here. He can go home. You want to go home with him? Yes, that's how he gets down. But yeah, I can't think like who signed, because like if you sign Russ, it's kind of like signing Cam, where it's like you're signing Russ. So like he can't be the backup.
The Giants. I keep saying it. The Giants.
Nah, he don't need to be in New York, man. He really don't need to be in New York.
What's a better fit? What's a better fit what's a better fit for him as a player than the Giants right now?
Minnesota.
No, they probably gonna bring Kirk back.
I don't think they bringing Kirk back.
Justin Jefferson advocated for Kirk though, so they probably gonna bring Kirk back.
Yeah, let me tell you, they don't give a fuck what Justin Jefferson thinks.
I think they should.
They about to get rid of him. They drafted Jordan Allison. They know what's about to happen. They know he gonna get out of Minnesota one way or the other. Every great wide receiver who's ever worn a Minnesota Vikings jersey has left.
Randy, Stephon,
Left. Chris.
Chris.
You got Chris because he got kicked out.
Then he left.
Mm-hmm. Then he left.
Oof.
Yeah. Adam, gone. Like, yeah, they know they ain't keeping him for long.
Damn.
It's like when the Indians get a good base. It's like when the Guardians get a good base hitter. Ain't gonna be long. A good shortstop. Hey man, he's gonna be gone soon.
Hey, enjoy him. Enjoy him.
Enjoy him while he's here, Cleveland. Hey man, that's a lot of games to sit through to get that kind of apathetic attitude about. Like,
that's why I'll Guardians podcast. That's
why I'll do it, dog.
Podcast.
They got you sitting through 165 games just to be like, hey man, we had a good run. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's nuts. But yeah, Russ, get up out of there, get your money, play in Minnesota. Play somewhere where we gonna forget you exist, right? Like that's where Russ needs to be. Somewhere where we don't care about. Minnesota is a perfect destination for him. Cause you know what, man? We only gonna hear about Russ if he playing well. Remember where there was Josh Dobbs mania going throughout the national world when he was out there in Minnesota? And then that shit went away. And it's like Josh Dobbs never existed. It feels like a year ago that happened.
Think about teams that we don't care about that he could play on.
Mm-hmm. The Jaguars.
No.
We don't care about. I'm just talking about teams we don't care about. We don't care about the Jaguars. We don't care about the Texans. Obviously, there's no openings in those spots. Let's see. Arizona.
They keep Tyler.
Oh, one of them LA teams. Let Matthew Stafford retire. Don't win Russ. We ain't gonna care. Have him out there backing up Justin Herbert.
Getting on Justin Herbert's nerves.
Hey, Justin, you need to keep your head up. You know, when I threw that interception in the Super Bowl, I just smiled. You don't get the fuck out my face, Russell. I play for the Chargers. Why are you smiling right now? Hey, look, if Russ's smile can survive the Los Angeles Clippers, then hey, man, that man got an elite mental strength. Because let me tell you something, I'm not smiling through my Clippers experience. Like, y'all put me on the Clippers because y'all didn't want to waive my injury. Like, nah. Yeah, man, he need to go to Minnesota. Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. I would say Minnesota.
When he end up on the Giants, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny.
Pray for that man if he end up on the Giants, man. Because actually, people care. Well, it's not the Jets, so it's at least you're not on the main team in New York. But
are the Jets the main team?
People care about the Jets.
I'm not gonna argue against that at all.
People don't really care about the Giants. Like, which team gives you more Knicks energy and which team gives you more Nets energy? And tell me that the Nets energy ain't with the Giants. Okay. Like, Jets fans, they feel like Knicks fans, right? Like, they was talking shit before the game on Thursday night about how they about to get us. Joe Flacco about to get Sacco and all this. They was talking. That's some Knicks fan. That's how I know we messing with the heart of New York when you playing the Jets. The Giants feel like you fucking with transplants. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. It feels like you messing with just Manhattan.
All right.
It don't feel like there's no subway riders on that Giants fan base like it is. That Jets fan base is nothing but the subway right there. Okay.
It's crazy you say that because all of my homies as Jets fans was like, man, I pray to God the Browns win.
And that's how you know they actually care. Like,
it's like, man, we need a good pick, man. We need a good pick. So
yes. But speaking of teams that people care about that stink, the Pistons. This is rough. They stink. They stink so bad. And they've stunk for so long that people don't even remember that if you grew up my age, the Pistons feel like a winning franchise to you, right?
Man, like the Pistons are one of the franchises in the NBA that really, really, really mattered. Like the Bad Boys,
Isaiah, the Bad Boys,
even Ben
Grant
Wallace,
Hill,
Tayshaun, Chauncey,
yep,
all of them. They mattered, dog. It mattered. Remember when the Cavs beat the Pistons in like what was it 07?
Mm-hmm. It was big.
Remember when they beat them in the playoffs? It was a huge deal.
It was LeBron's crowning moment. Look, both of the NBA's GOATs, in my opinion, have had to have their crowning moments versus what franchise? The Detroit Pistons. You can also add the Cavaliers in there because Jordan did it against the Cavs. And LeBron did it with the Cavs. Wait, we're going to throw that one to the side. The Pistons, right? They've mattered for that long. They were the rival to the Showtime Lakers. They were the rival to Michael Jordan. They were the rival to early LeBron. And then after 2004, they've been absolutely, positively mediocre. And now they stink. And you know what? I know a lot of people are sad for Detroit. I'm happy for Detroit because I feel like what happened to them from post 2004 on is exactly what happened to the Cleveland Browns. And now they're finally going to fix this ship. And the reason I think this isn't because I have any faith in who's running the team. Let's be honest. Probably getting fired soon. Monty Williams ain't going to make it that long. But in 3 years, I think the Pistons will be back. The reason I think the Pistons will be back is because they finally have gone full suck. Like they have finally just decided to stink. Now this doesn't make sense because they already got Cade Cunningham.
I'm like, where are you going with this?
But they need pieces around Cade. They need another first round. Cade and Cooper. And then they probably
Dog.
gonna stink the year after that. They should have stunk last year. Like, this is the thing. They just don't choose the right years to stink. Like, they should have really been as terrible as the Spurs to try to get Wembanyama, but
They've had Cade, Jalen Duren, who's also very good. They drafted Jade. They need that entire franchise just structurally from the top down has
they
to
just
get
need to blow it up.
changed.
That's what I'm saying.
They
you
gotta
stink
get
this bad,
everybody.
you blow it up. And that's why I'm thinking it's going to be good for Detroit, that they're going to finally blow this thing up. Right? Just like we went 0-16 and we decided we just about to blow this thing up. Fuck it. Just destroy it. And after that, we've been much better. Like, there's a clear mark in the Cleveland Browns' successes. Pre-0-16, post-0-16. And post-0-16, so much better. We already have more playoff appearances post-0-16 than we had before. And it's not been an equal amount of years, Cove. Why can't the same thing be true for the Pistons? Lose out. Don't win a game again. Just lose out.
No, man, they can't. They got to start winning some games because you're getting into a situation now.
No, hold Cade York out. I mean, not Cade York. Hold Cade Cunningham out and just let the rest of these losers lose. Because ain't nobody else on this team stand.
It's too late. Because Cade has had multiple 40-point games in like the last 2 weeks, and they still haven't won a game.
Well, Cade's a winner. I think Cade's a winner. So I think Cade's going to be fine.
When you lose to the level that they are losing, you are running the risk of that just being embedded in some of these guys. At this point. And I don't want it to be Cade. They got to start winning some games.
No, they got one guy worth salvaging, but I think Cade's going to be salvaged. I think Cade's a special enough guy and player to be able to work through this.
Duren's worth salvaging too. Duren's good too. They just got a lot of
whoever you want to add to this. But I'll just say, all right, as long as you don't mess up Cade, you're fine. Everybody else can go. You got the island of misfit toy. They got James Wiseman on that team
for no reason.
They got Michael Bagley.
Marvin Bagley.
But
they just got a bunch of guys that don't fit, man.
They got all that. You know why that team stinks like they do? They have a team full of unfulfilled potential. Just a bunch of losers on their team. That's why they stink. They playing Trey Burks. How many minutes?
It's
bad.
I watch them and I'm just like, how did y'all let it? You got all these players who are younger, trying to make names for themselves, trying to figure out where they fit in the league. What's the best role for them to contribute to winning? And you don't have the right guy guiding them at this. Like Monty Williams isn't going to be the head coach of that team much longer.
Yeah, you need to basically blow up the whole team, keep Cade, keep maybe two more guys. But I don't know. You gotta make sure they ain't losers. Like, I remember hearing this story. It was a Jalen Rose story. And he was on the team that Bill Russell was coaching. Mm-hmm. And Bill never let him sit with the team because Bill was like, Jalen, let me tell you something. All those guys in the front of the plane are losers. I don't want you to become like them. They are losers. We will never win a single thing with them. They suck. I hate them. They're losers. And you remember how grumpy Bill Russell used to be? Like, yes, I know for a fact he said this. Called them all losers. And I bet you on that team, there are some players who are putting up some good numbers and might look salvageable that you look at. If you had a glimpse of them behind the scenes, you would be like, oh, these guys are fucking losers. Can't win with them. Got to get them off the fucking team. Got to get them off the team. These guys will never contribute to winning basketball because they're losers.
I feel so bad for Cade. I feel so bad for Cade.
And Cade is the only dude I'm like, I'm like, that's the only guy who really want to win. He out here trying so hard.
People were saying Jalen Green was better than Cade.
Oh, the Kenny Smith story. That's a Kenny Smith story, not a Jalen Rose. Yeah.
Oh, it's Kenny Smith?
Yeah. They're all losers, dog. You are not a loser. Sit with, like, look, Monty Williams is sitting next to Cade Cunningham on that plane. He not letting him sit next to all these other. He not letting him hang with Marvin Bagley. Like, are you? No, out here with James Wiseman. You think he out here letting him get lunch with James Wiseman? Absolutely not. No. And shame on the Detroit Pistons for surrounding this man with nothing but the element. And the element is not necessarily a good thing in this context because the element is losers. You have surrounded this man with nothing but losers.
Nothing but losers.
Yes.
They've lost 28 straight.
Like, just fucking trade for Ben Simmons at this point.
Oh, 28 straight games, dog. What do you even say?
Hey, can we talk about the Wizards real quick? Because, like, hey, there's no team that should be happier than what's happening in Detroit right now than the Wizards because we kind of forgot to talk about them.
Or
Also,
the Spurs.
Also, in the micro of that, right? Because the Wizards are hilarious. Nobody is happier that they got the Goof Squad out there more than Kyle Kuzma. Because we done forgot about Kyle's goofy ass. We done completely.
You picked the wrong Wizards player. You picked the wrong Wizards player. The player that's happy is Jordan Poole.
Hey,
he's happy. We not paying attention to him. No
I'm saying since we're not paying attention to the Wizards, right? And since we're paying so much attention to Jordan Poole and how goofy he is, we haven't really talked about Kyle Kuzma in a very long time. And this is doing numbers for Kyle Kuzma's PR. Like, because we used to always be on Kyle Kuzma's ass about something, right? Now Jordan Poole there, we ain't got room to talk about. Between the Pistons and Jordan Poole, there is literally no room. There's no room. So shout out to Kyle Kuzma. Like,
oh no. Oh, we gotta shout out the Pistons too, though. Because they broke the losing streak record. Because the Cavs had that. Had that. Salute,
by the way, that's
Pistons.
another monument to LeBron's greatness.
He was winning 60 games.
He won 60 games with that roster. All that happens is he leaves and they lose 27 in a row. Like, that's another little facet about LeBron's greatness that we didn't bring up. Like, we don't bring up anymore.
What did he say? 26 losses in a row as soon as he won.
I believe that shit was early in the season too. Like, they let you know we have no hope.
I think they started the season like 5-5 in the first 10 games, and then
they had that competitive game with the Heat. Well, a competitive game in the first quarter with the Heat in LeBron's first game back. It was on TNT, and after that, the season was over. That was it. Cavs were not playing basketball after that. But speaking of the Cavs, are we going to have to walk back? Now, I'm kind of nervous to talk about it. It seems like every time we talk about it, the opposite happens. Cole, tell me why JB still need to get fired.
Hey, man. JB on his Kevin Stefanski right now.
Hey, my man cooking up something. He's like, oh, you don't think I can get these you think I don't get these lineups right? Let me show you something. We about to win games without no scorers. Like,
said,
one of these games wasn't Sam Merrill hurt too? Like,
yeah, he lost everybody. He lost everybody. Dog. They were down by 20 to the Mavs, and came back and won that game in that.
Can we talk about the Mavericks?
What you talking about?
I feel like they don't get as much smoke as they deserve.
That's because Luke is cold.
Yeah, Luke is cold, but like, man, I feel like we have turns for players who be this good, but the team don't be that good. They've gotten outflanked by the fucking Timberwolves. Remember how the Mavericks were supposed to be the team of the West? How Luka was supposed to run the West for the next 5-10 years? And now we're talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Hey, the T-Wolves is good too. They're really good.
Yeah. Shame on Mark. I don't ever want to hear how good of an owner Mark Cuban is. I think he sold the team recently, but I don't ever want to hear this. They got outflanked by the Timberwolves. Got Karl Anthony Towns out here stunting on you with Rudy Gay. Not Rudy Gay, Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert?
Rudy Gay is also a Timberwolves legend, I believe. But yes, with Rudy Gobert.
Man.
Shout out to the Ant-Man, man.
I was about to say something crazy, but
pure greatness. Pure greatness right there from Ant-Man.
I'm not going to say it. Ooh, he been on a heater since that exposition. That's all. Since he got exposed. That's all I'm gonna say. He been a heater.
Send a video. Send
Ooh,
a
six,
video.
6-1. 6-1.
Hey, Anthony Edwards, Sean McDermott. Let me tell you, incredible records. Incredible records after some very damning articles. After some trying times.
Oh Lord.
Hey, they about to have a real look. If they do anything, you about to hear some real uncomfortable, really, like if the Bills or the Timberwolves do anything, it's about to be some real uncomfortable, real vague references to overcoming adversity that we just gonna have to let fly. I know Sean McDermott, he gonna get on there if he win that Lamar Hunt trophy, he gonna be like, yeah, man, they tried to kill me. They tried to kill me. They tried to get me like they got Pac. He gonna keep using bad analogies.
Terrible analogies.
They tried to get me. No, he gonna compare himself to God or some shit like that. Like, look, double down. Double down, Sean McDermott. Hey, he gonna be up there like, they put Jesus on the cross. Like, Sean, no, stop it. Stop.
What are you doing?
I need Sean McDermott to make that his gimmick. Just the horrible analogy guy. Just lead in all the way. Remember when Urban Meyer got in trouble for saying, man, being a head coach is just like being a fighter pilot. If people were upset about that, they ain't got nothing on what Sean McDermott out here doing, dog. Like, Sean, lead in, brother. Lead in. We ain't never letting it go that you took Al Qaeda's side on a motivational speech.
Hey, if he lean into the 9/11 thing, dog. Oh,
he will be quoting Biggie lyrics.
Ooh.
Yeah, Sean. I need you to lead all the way in on this. Just look, it's not gonna do nothing good for your career, mind you. Like this is gonna end terribly public relation wise for you. But I will get a good laugh out of it. Like, like
an amazing laugh out of this.
I need them to win that division.
We will be in a podcast cracking up, Sean. Please do that.
Sean. Oh man. Sean gonna use all them comps, man. Sean gonna use all them uncomfortable comparisons. I already know it. Cause Sean a real one.
Hey, there's a whole reference, a whole post 9/11 reference you can make.
Stop it.
He could do it.
If you would have said that shit out loud, this has been a grand opening, grand closing of the podcast.
You see how I ain't say it? You see how I ain't say it?
Let's talk more about Deshaun Watson's charity work. Sometimes I feel like this show is like Eric Andre for sports. Because he gets so off topic. It's so abstract. Like what are we talking about? I'm in the podcast. Like, how did we get here?
Like, we're supposed to be talking about the Cavs.
Yeah, man. Shout out JB.
We was gonna make comparisons to them and the Browns, and then it just went off
yeah. We somehow ended up in Sean McVay.
Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott, my bad.
See what I'm saying? We don't even know what coach talking about them.
Hey, the same thing happens to me whenever Quincy Avery tweets something stupid. You don't know how many times I've gotten messages and I'm like, you are not talking to the right Quincy. Like, you need to teach your boy how to throw the football. I'm not that Quincy.
Over here, that's not my boy.
I'm not the one that quote tweeted Jamel Hill or Mina Kimes and said something ignorant. Like, that wasn't me. that was QA. Okay, like people mad at me. I'm pretty sure there were some pretty notable arguments that I've been in where the reason the argument started cold was because the person who started the argument thought I was the other Quincy. And I think you know what I'm talking about too. Like,
hey, you know I'm about to do that intentionally next time. So something crazy happened. I'm just gonna mention you.
just add to the misconception.
Yeah, I was like, how dare you say that?
That's nuts, man. Because I remember I was joking. I was like, man, he need to change his name, thinking like that didn't actually happen. Then I got like 100 replies under a tweet like, oh, that's not you? I was like, oh my God, bro. Oh my God. I need to shot fire him, dog. Like
you're lucky I ain't see that because I'd be like, yeah, that's him.
I think about that every day. I'm like, man, I hope he don't tweet something stupid. Because it ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't even share some of the same beliefs as him. And yeah, I deal with the consequences of it.
You better hope I don't see it if it happens.
He been quiet recently, but I know he gonna start chirping up in the off season. I already know, but yeah, man. People think I host a podcast with Deshaun Watson. No, I don't. Like, oh, it's been one of the most frustrating experiences. Straight up, very frustrating experiences this year. I don't know what I'm gonna do next year if he start playing well. He know he gonna get out of pocket.
Oh yeah, 100%.
People gonna think I really like ride him. Like, this is not. Look at the profile picture. These are two different brothers named Quincy. Like, clearly, two different.
Oh, I get tears in my eyes. Hold on.
Yeah. I be catching those strays, dog. It'd be crazy. It'd be crazy. People just be finding me on YouTube. I ain't got my picture on YouTube, so they just think it's me. They just think it's him. Yeah, man. I need that man to retire from social media. Like, I don't know if he a good quarterback coach or not. I don't really care. But I need that man to stop his public pursuits because he's hurting my career, dog. Like,
he's hurting my career is nuts.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Oh, it's like, man. You ever see somebody pop up? Like, you don't ever want somebody infamous to pop up with your name. You know what I mean? Like, you don't ever want that to happen. And not to say that the dude's infamous. He hasn't done anything like actually evil. He just had some bad takes. But yeah, man. Couldn't imagine trying to get a job with the name Fidel in the 70s. Like, could not imagine, you know.
So the Cleveland Cavaliers have overcome a bunch of
Super chats. We go to super chats. We go to super chats. Wait, don't worry, Cole. We getting off.
Not touching that. Not touching that.
I should have probably chosen less controversial figure or more, but I was like, I didn't want to go to the main one that everybody go to. So I'm like, well.
Oh yeah, don't go to that one either.
Yeah, I'm not about to go there. It's gonna get us demonetized. So I'm like, all right, who's next in the timeline? Yeah, there's nobody you could go to that's really like, yeah. I'm just go ahead and leave that one alone. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No disrespect to my Cuban brothers and sisters. But see, that's all right. Stingray Slapper with the super chat. With the super chat says, vibes were crazy last night, but I just can't see Strong on the field anymore. He is just terrible. Hopefully more is all good. That was scary. Would be a massive to have him in the playoffs. Much love, y'all. Pierre Strong had the weakest fumble of all time.
No, every time Pierre Strong touches the ball, something bad happens. Every single time. Something bad happens.
Well, no, not every time. Like, see, 40% of the time he pops off a good run. 40% of the time he does something awful. And then 20% of the time he does nothing at all. It's just a
It's
gamble.
penalty.
Yeah, Pierre Strong is a human version of a loot crate box. Like you keep rolling it thinking he gonna get like that big 20-yard run he gets every once in a while, but you usually just end up with some bullshit. But that 20% chance that you might hit keeps you rolling, right? Keeps the people in the comment section right now. You guys are sleeping on Pierre Strong. He's clearly the best running back on there. I know they are there because they message me every day.
Nah, Jerome Ford is better than him. He just is. He just is.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted a running back though, 100%.
They might sign a running back. What's Leonard Fournette doing? The Wilson trade. Okay, Ray Rag says the Wilson trade is 10 times worse than the Watson trade. Denver gave up Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris. Shout out Shelby. Shout out Shelby. Appreciate that one. 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round draft picks, and 1 fifth-round pick for Wilson and a 4th. And let's not forget, they traded another first-round pick for Sean Payton to fix Russ. Mm-hmm. All I'm going to say is this. One franchise feels like they have their shit together. Another franchise feels fucked.
No, let's just be honest about it, bro. It's worse. It's a worse trade by far. Clearly, it's clearly the worst trade of the two. Because they're about to cut Russ 2 years in. Didn't make the playoffs. The Browns are about to make the playoffs. Watson was 5-1 as a starter. I don't know what Russ was this season. What was it, 7-8 as a starter? Something like that. And they're cutting him 2 years into the deal, and the extension that they gave him. Already cutting bait. Lost all those picks. It's worse by far.
Hey, Cole, by the way, I told you that Pierre Hive is strong. My man Outroute says, man, Pierre ain't that bad. He just makes mistakes. He's explosive. He has good vision. I think he's too small. He's not too small. He's 6'2", by the way, and doesn't have contact balance to be. Yeah, he's 6'2".
No way.
Yeah, he's 6'2".
6'2"?
I saw him play in college. He's 6'2". They say he's 6 foot here.
Yeah,
I thought he was 6'2".
I was about to say, dog, I didn't know he was that tall.
Still, he's not a small running back.
He's also very athletic, too. Extremely athletic.
He has no contact balance. And let me tell you, the one position, there's 2 positions you could play where you can't get away with that. Honestly, there's one sport you could get away where you can't get away with that. It's football. He'd be a great track athlete. But if he can't got no contact balance. You remember Sasha Pavlovich, Cole? Watching Pierre Strong run the football is a lot like watching Sasha Pavlovich try to drive to the rack. Where Sasha Pavlovich had absolutely no contact balance. Every time he got hit, ball comes out of bounds. Cavs turn the ball over. That's what it's like with Pierre Strong. It's like, hey, man, if nobody touches him, he's pretty damn good. But if nobody touches Jerome Ford, he's pretty good too.
Yeah, we need another running back. We're gonna need another running back. And there's some good ones in the draft, and I'm sure Andrew Berry's gonna take one.
Yeah. Or he just gonna find some dude just running right now behind the house. Andrew like that. He gonna sign your cousin. Start for the Cleveland Browns. It is.
Hey, Real can do it, man.
Hey, man.
Real can do it.
Hey, Deuce ain't the only one. Clyde ain't the only one that can hold it down. We'll see. Look, are they in the same category? Like, is Rail in the same category as a Clyde? Or are they different? I'm pretty sure Rail is not appreciating how much we talk.
No, he's definitely not appreciating how much we talk about him. For real, though, honestly, put Rail at fullback. We might be all right.
Oh, he a mover? He a people mover?
He gonna move somebody. You know, he got a low center of gravity, so he gonna get somebody out.
I wasn't even referring to Rail when I said your cousin. I was just referring to anybody. He could just sign anybody.
Well, we talking about Rail. We talking about Rail.
Shout out Rail, man. Go follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, shout out Rail.
All right. Does he have a podcast?
No, Rail don't have a podcast.
All right. Well, we need to get him to drop a take or two here. Okay, yeah, we already got to that. Ray Rags was another one. Also, Pitt starting Mason Rudolph over a healthy Kenny Pickett, but everything is fine in Steelers world.
Mason's better than Kenny. I'll say that.
The fact that we debating it tells me we exactly where we want to be with them motherfuckers. Yes. Like, hey, I feel like the CIA with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, I'm just trying to start instability. Like,
Oh, we put drugs into the community.
we are starting a civil war. Yes. Yes.
Hey, is Kenny Pickett crack? In this?
No, Mason Rudolph is the crack, right? They was winning games with Kenny Pickett. They still kind of had their shit together with Kenny Pickett. No, I'm going to introduce that Mason Rudolph to the street. It's going to hit hard, and it is going to destroy you after that, baby. Like, yes.
You said we Ronald Reagan?
Yep. Nolan North, whatever his name is, you know, we out here trying to destroy that community. Yes, we are out here trying to create instability in this country of Pittsburgh. You know, any reference you want to get to it, like we are out here foreign meddling. All right, Russia in the election, wherever you want to use, we are out here meddling with this Pittsburgh Steelers situation. And yeah, Mason Rudolph is great. Like,
man, I
love it.
See Steelers fans was like, hey, we should bring Baker in here. Maybe Joe Flacco could do this with us.
Oh, the psyop is working, baby. The psyop is working. Yes.
Trying to be like the Browns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we gonna turn y'all into Cleveland, baby. Yeah. Y'all gonna be the Steelers again. Y'all gonna be the Steelers again. See, people forget before the Steelers got Chuck Noll, who was a Cleveland Brown, by the way. Before he was in Pittsburgh and from Cleveland. Before they got a little taste of that Cleveland, the Pittsburgh Steelers stunk. They were absolutely putrid, awful, mediocre franchise. Only got by off their relative location close to Cleveland because they were a rival with the Browns. Literally the only reason Pittsburgh has survived is because of the Browns. They back to that. Yeah, y'all back to that. We trying to get y'all back to that. You know what I mean? Y'all houses got too nice over there. We about to destroy this. So Mason Rudolph is great. I don't know what you're talking about, Cole. Excellent. Love Mason. And you know what? Kenny Pickett, great too. You're in such a fortunate spot if you're Pittsburgh because you don't have to draft a quarterback. Right? Maybe go out and get Russ. Have a three-headed competition. I don't see a reason why not.
Woo, they're fucked.
Mm-hmm. And you know who's really standing in the way? Mike Tomlin. Got to get rid of him.
Got to get rid of that guy.
Got to fire Mike. You're never going to win games with a coach like that. You're
When's
just
the
never.
last time they've been to the playoffs? Like 2016?
When's the last time they won a playoff game? They went to the playoffs in 2021, but they ain't won a playoff game since 2017.
Oh, man.
It's rough. Got it. If we ain't, when the last time the Browns won a playoff game? Shit. Like, what, 2020? Ain't been that long.
Ooh.
Like, yeah.
I mean, they know. They know when the last time we won a playoff game.
Mm-hmm. In front of everybody. Imagine again, you should have been fired that day. He should have been fired that day. So, you know, all they got to do is...
You see that stat?
No.
It's the first time in like 35 years the Browns have had a better record than the Steelers.
Yeah. Look,
streak's over.
I'm not going to lie. If there's one thing that could get Mike Tomlin fired, it's that. Like, that is the one thing that can get Mike Tomlin fired. Is like Ryan Day's job is safe. But if Michigan State or like Rutgers like what happened with I think Alabama fired their coach 1 year because like Vanderbilt won the SEC. Like that's the stuff that gets people fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's not even Mike Tomlin's fault. Because the Browns are just better. They just gonna have to live with that one, Cole. But until they do, they're gonna have to make some mistakes, and I'm gonna hope they fire Mike Tomlin and then start Mason Rudolph for a whole year. Yeah, do that. That sounds good to me. That sound good to you?
Sounds great to me.
Super Bowl. All right. Akalai says, wish we had something funny or thoughtful question to ask, but I'm just happy, man. Born in 97, never knew the good Browns until recently. Dream also has a friendly suggestion for us. Could you please announce when you stream a bit more in advance? For sure, we'll get more viewers and participants. Hey, dog, we weren't sure if we were going to be here till what? Till it looked like the Browns were going to win that game?
Mm-hmm. We promised going forward, we will announce when we were going to stream, but this was just kind of spur of the moment thing because we whipped the Jets' ass and we go into the playoffs. So we had to say something.
Ray Rags, again, LaSalle Thomas, you can never call these guys losers. What are you doing? Russell responded, I'm trying to trade them. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants them. If you don't believe me, you can sit with me in the office. Oh, that reminds me. Remember when Baker was like asking for a trade and people was like, man, he could get traded for a first round pick tomorrow. And I was like, they've been trying to trade this motherfucker for 3 months. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
my man
sat out in 2021. He might have been able to get a fool somebody.
Nah, he probably would have like worked out. Like, I don't know. Yeah, just nothing good from him playing in 2021. Nothing good happened. Nothing. Nothing good for him. No, it wasn't good for anybody, man. Like, he should have just sat out. Like,
he should have just sat out. I say it all the time. It goes a
and what we
way
know now, Kev would have probably been all right. Like, Case Keenum would have had unparalleled career revivals. Like, my man, Akalon back at it again. Pierre Strong stands are gambling addicts. Also, if you haven't, please talk about the weekly Za'Darius Field flop. My dad did it again.
Dog. I tweeted you as soon as I seen it. I was like, he did it again.
I looked at him. I saw that dying on the ground. I'm like, get the fuck up, Za'Darius. Like, you are lying right now. We see you do this. Then he popped up smiling every week. I'm like, you are Eddie Guerrero in the early 2000s. Like, you just out here doing the lie cheat still. Like, that's what he's doing. He out here doing the possum.
I was like, man, get your ass up, man.
You are a liar, dog. You are fine. You are healthy.
It's the bit now, so I can't even get mad. He's gonna do it next week.
No, he do it when the clock hit 30 every time, just so he can get off the field quick. He trying to get his pads off and shit. Like, that is. Hey,
it's a bit. Hey. It's a bit.
If you think I'm joking about him trying to get to the locker room early, watch Za'Darius Smith in the post-game speeches videos. He almost be in jeans, dog. Like, hey, he don't spend no extra time at the 9 to 5. He go to the family and do what's important. I got nothing but respect for that. Like, but he gonna take that field flop just to make sure he get that extra time he need to start taking off that spat. We've all done it. We've all done an equivalent of that at our job. Like, I appreciate Za'Darius for being upfront about it. Like, and then the funniest thing was that they was taking it dead serious. It was like,
they do it every week.
This happened last week, and you worry about this happening. And we just sit here like, Za'Darius, dog. All right, he out here just trying to like slide off his spats and shit. Like, just get off the field. Just stop putting Za'Darius on the field at the end of game situations, and you know he about to do this, dog. Like, he pop up like he know he got away with. So he look like a little kid, like. Every time
he be smiling big as shit. He just be like,
he did this last week and was on the social media video talking about dog pound. We up on the next week. 1-0, baby. Like, he clearly is not hurt. My man Mike Wack says, I was at the game last night. I sat in the dog pound. It smelled like beer and weed the entire time and was pure pandemonium. Also, the cough drops work. Thank you. I told you. Hey, look, vet experience. Used to have to hold down my student section in college. And let me tell you, when I found out about them cough drops, changed my life. Changed life-changing experience right there. Cough drops work.
Real quick. Shout out to dude who was in the stadium. They kept showing on the broadcast.
Oh, my big guy?
Big guy with the lucha mask. Shout out to him.
Shout out to everybody sitting next to him, because I'm pretty sure homie came alone. Right? Like, and you just was like, all right, this the vibe? This is what we doing? We standing, I guess. Like, that's how good the vibes were. Somebody walked in on that situation next to him. It was like, yeah, man, let's do it. Fuck it. Yeah. Like, there was no room to have a bad mood for that. Like, nah, like, no, I can't sit in my seat and get my juice the way I want. Nah, he was like, yeah, I guess we standing. Fuck it. Roof. You saw who was standing next to it too. It looked like two Americas right there, just getting along. That's the power of football right there. Just bring the country together, man. Mike Wack says, also seeing David Njoku take shots in the parking lot with fans. I don't think we're supposed to know this. Makes me think the Browns are truly a part of the fabric of the city of Cleveland. Again, is like the team before the team moved. And also, Mike, David Njoku is woven into the fabric of the city of this team. Like,
at this point, yes.
Yeah, the David Njoku podcast will be a problem for my market share in like 10 years. It will be a real issue. Because that shit is happening. The David is definitely one of those players who is never leaving once they retire. Like,
going off that immediately.
Shout
out to all the former Browns players that be happy and be in the stadium.
Phil Taylor bought a regular seat in the dog pound.
Shout out Phil Taylor.
Riding like a regular dude. He was out there. They jumped into the crowd. Phil Taylor was like, yeah. Hey, shout out Phil, man. Shout out Big FT, man. Underrated player, too. Underrated player in his day.
Man. But he wasn't the only one. Like, if you was on Twitter, you seen a lot of the dudes who used to play here back when the team was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The team was just god awful. And it was like, let's go. It's like, we got it. We doing it. I'm like, we still?
Hey, man. Hey. We be having to wheel out these guys. Like, we've been wheeling out Joe Thomas for the longest. It's like, nah, now we about to be like, hey, man, you remember Montario Hardesty? Like,
yes.
Hey, man, you remember Terrence West? Like,
no, I think Demarius Randall was at the game. Randall dudes. Stop.
Demarius Randall was at the game. You know Greg Williams be going to them games too, right? I hope they didn't meet each other. We need that episode on that Greg Williams podcast.
Hey, that's how you know the Browns bringing everybody together. We winning.
Hey, look, if they can get Greg Williams and Demarius Randall singing Kumbaya together, that's the power of Cleveland right there, dog. Because nobody hates somebody like Demarius Randall hates that man Greg Williams for what reason I have still not understood. Like, but can pretty safely assume something happened given the two personalities in that situation. You know, seems like they argue. Like, I thought Demarius was playing well in the Greg. Like, Oh yeah. Is there anybody else? Isaiah Crowell?
No, I don't think Isaiah's gonna show up then.
Hey man, we need to really do Kevin Hogan is solid. You know, like Cody Kessler, come on back to Cleveland. Get your love, Cody. Like
Rashard
Deshaun
Higgins.
Kaiser.
Rashard Higgins can get his
He
love.
was kind of here he was here when they made the playoffs though. He don't count as a stuck through the stink all-star. Terrell Pryor does.
He does.
Yes,
he does.
Terrell Pryor does. He stuck through the stink. Like,
who was that one defensive tackle we had who blocked that kick that one when they went 1-15 so they could win that game? Who was that?
Jamie Meter?
Yes.
The Parma Pierogi Prince of Parma or something like that?
Yes.
Look, Jamie Meter been living off this for years, man. Like Jamie Meter been living off being Jamie Meter in Parma for years. Like
we gotta bring Jamie in here, get him in the dog pound.
Yeah, get Jamie in the dog pound. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Who else deserves that love? Hey, Ruben Drones.
Ooh,
come get your love, Ruben. Yes.
Ruben
Technically,
Drones?
I'm kind of related to Ruben Drones.
Really?
Yeah, my cousin is cousins with him.
Like, I got one of those, but it wouldn't be. It's not who you think though.
Yeah. So shout out Ruben.
Yeah, shout out Ruben.
Shout out Ruben Drones, man. Brown's a legend. Brown's a legend. We don't give him his due. We got more super chats coming in. Last one from Mike says also, okay, we saw that David was taking shots. Yeah, he ain't never leaving. Dixie Wrecked says all the clips of the media picking the Browns to be in last place during the preseason are golden today. You know what's even more hilarious about that? This shit never made sense to pick the Browns to be in last place.
Talk about it. Man,
it never made sense. It never made sense. So I don't even. So the people get dunked on. Yeah, fuck them. We told you it was a bad idea when you did it. Like, this wasn't even one of those, like, oh, I can't wait till we prove you wrong. Everybody's sleeping on us. We were like, dog, that's stupid. I made a video about that Adam Rake thing the day it happened. Like, that's how bad of a prediction it was. We've been roasting that shit since what? August? It's terrible. Terrible. Ray Rag says, Miami, I need you to step up this week and beat Baltimore and then also lose to the Bills. I need you guys to do two straight. So I need you to
step up and lose to the Bills.
Hey, Finn up this week, but Bills out next week, baby. Like, it's a cold world.
Okay, question. What's more important to this team? Just resting everybody and getting them healthy, or really trying to go for really trying to win the division?
Hey man, this defense is crazy at home.
It is. It really is, but we so hurt.
Hey, look, man. Here's what I'm saying, Cole. PJ can do it. PJ can do it. Look, PJ still got one crazy PJ Walker game left in him. He ain't had one all year. He do. I'm going to put it right here. PJ beating the Bengals. You can start PJ and beat the Bengals. I'm not worried about them. They got to worry about Miles. All PJ got to do is get us a field goal. We going to walk in there with PJ squad and beat them and talk about how they got PJ and laugh at the Bengals. Because, Cole, we acted like the Bengals are a franchise that we take seriously here in Cleveland. If there's any team left in the NFL that you're like, hey, we can fuck around and beat them with the backups and PJ Walker, would you not say it's the Bengals? Simply off GP? Yeah. Yeah. So PJ got that. We're going to get both of them. We're going to rest our starters and get that if it's available to us. Because PJ got one more in him. I believe in it, PJ. PJ, I believe in it. And also, look, if you ain't got no wide receivers, PJ Walker is exactly who you need to have in there because PJ gonna give them chances to shine. Like, look, Joe was not doing well when it was down to David Bell and Cedric Tillman because Joe needs those dudes to be in specific spots to do what he needs to do. PJ don't give a fuck about them spots, dog. PJ just gonna throw that thing up to Cedric and it's gonna be pure 101 for Cedric Tillman. And Cedric might be able to do that. Like, he don't know where he's supposed to be, but he know where a 50-50 ball is. Hey,
Cedric is hilarious, dog.
Yes.
He don't know the plays.
Cedric Tillman is like, I need PJ to play. I need PJ to play, dog. Like,
I've never seen anything like I've never seen a player legitimately not know where he's supposed to be and where he's supposed
every
to be.
Every play, Joe's like, where are you at?
but still makes plays.
I want to
Still makes
know,
plays.
Cole. I want to know the conversations him and Deshaun Watson be having about Cedric Tillman, because I bet they was on that sideline like, yeah, was it 19? You just can't trust the young fella to run a post. You just can't throw that timing route to the young fella yet. He just ain't consistent. Hey, look, we went through the same thing with David Njoku. We'll take that long grind with Cedric. It's gonna be all right. Like,
Scramble drill though. Scramble drill.
hey, scramble drill. He got it. Hey,
He got it.
hey, you just get the ball in his hands with a little momentum. Ooh, it looks great.
Hey, he can run a slant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just don't try to get it to him in 2 seconds. Like he not gonna be where you want him to be. Like, well, yeah, man. You know who's gonna do great with that? PJ Walker. Like, yes, PJ about to go off of him. So you know what? PJ got one more in him. Alex Wright got one more in him. Obo Okoronkwo got one more in him. And Miles gonna play in there just so he can lock up that defensive player of the year. And he gonna get that. So look, we ain't even gotta worry about it. We gonna get them 17 days to get Amari and everybody healthy. And we gonna get that 1 seed. Well, not the 1 seed. I don't know about that. But we gonna get that division if it's available to us. Because if the Bengals are the only thing standing in our way, brother, it's ours. The Bengals have lost more inexplicable games to us than this. Like, straight up. Like, they have lost more improbable games to us in the Kevin Stefanski era. They lost to Baker Mayfield in 2021. Post shoulder injury, Baker Mayfield, by the way.
Hey, dog, did you see that tweet where somebody, a Bengals fan was like, it's like, oh, Browns fans think they're like us because we make the playoffs consistently. And then somebody was like, since 2020, we have both made the playoffs the same amount of times.
I believe the Browns have a better record in the last 4 years than the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think we're like a game up on them now.
What the fuck are they talking about? Like, like they don't watch the head-to-head games.
Oh.
Like, if this was Baltimore, we'd be like, man, it was nice having a chance. If we had to play Baltimore or even Pittsburgh with PJ, but nah, we walk in there with the extra bit of confidence, like, hey man, PJ gonna go off, baby. Like, I'm gonna be excited to watch PJ in the future. This team go off. Hey, Jordan Atkins ain't had a big game yet. About time, you know what I mean? It's about time.
I see him make a play yesterday. He made a play yesterday.
He ready to get. Look, we not worried about Cincinnati. we not worried about that one. We'll worry about Cincinnati when they make us worry about it, but nothing about Cincinnati has to be worried right now. Seriously, are you worried about Cincinnati?
Not at all.
They gonna be like, oh, we're injured. I'm like, I thought y'all had a better chance with it because you were injured. Because we know Joe Burrow ain't coming in here like beating the Browns in a game that matters. Get the fuck out of my face. No, absolutely not. But this has been Q and Cole. I'm gonna stay away from that joke. I'll tell you the joke after we can. No,
what joke?
I was gonna stay away from that joke.
It's one of them. We're gonna have a couple of them on.
Yeah. Look, we're gonna have to clean up some things before we get a sponsor. We might have to release 2 versions of this podcast.
I'm just trying to get the sponsors that a little bit more problematic.
This video brought to you by AshleyMadison.com. I could never. We can't do that, by the way.
We can't do.
We both are not in situations to do that sponsorship. Give me Manscaped. I will talk about, cleaning, shaving nuts or whatever they want me to talk about on that ad read to that, dog. We got things to protect.
Most importantly, our lives.
Yes. Well, there will be no Q and Cole. You walk in, who are these two women on this show?
Well,
Yeah, so ain't gonna be no more show.
we have both come to a mutual decision.
Yeah, we just gotta ignore that email. I don't care what they offer, dog. Like, it ain't more than our life. Like,
A mutual decision that was 100% our own decision.
yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. Look. There is nothing more furious than a romantic partner who feels like you are going out of your way to make them look goofy. There is no rage that matches that. You could do, like, if you could do all kind of things and it won't be as equal as if you did that thing plus they felt like you went out the way to make them feel goofy. No, you don't do that. Okay? Never, ever. But y'all have a good one before we talk ourselves into some trouble. Y'all have a good one. Have an even better night. This has been QnCOLB, second one of the week. Someone said Adam and Eve sponsorship. All right.